The celebrations ramping up from coast to coast. But those life-threatening triple-digit temperatures.
It's really dangerous.
Scrambling plans. Here in Philly, the nation's biggest 4th of July parade canceled. The governor telling me why.
We want everybody to be safe,
And the Great American State Fair on the Washington Mall shut down for hours.
Freaking hot. Very, very hot.
Amtrak canceling dozens of trains. We're live across the country as this once-in-a-generation birthday bash begins. The fireworks over Mount Rushmore just hours away. The ball drop in Times Square to ring in the 4th. And we're with the tall ships for their epic sail into New York Harbor.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
NBC News with exclusive access to the largest maritime gathering in U.S. history. Also tonight, the deadly shooting at a mall in Michigan, terrifying videos of shoppers fleeing, and this image of a man with a gun, 2 people killed. The suspected shark attack on a packed New York beach, what we're learning about the victim and how he survived. The stunning footage blurred by police, a toddler declared dead by a doctor, then found breathing and alive, all of it playing out on body cam. The close call caught on camera, frightening moments a state trooper jumps out of the way of a speeding driver. The wedding event of the year is finally here. The celebrities arriving for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's celebration tonight. As we celebrate 250, the parades and fireworks that have already begun, including the skydiver with an American flag crashing into a rodeo. Why he says he'll fly again tonight. While here in Philly, the woman who has protected the legacy of the Liberty Bell for decades. We're covering it all tonight. The celebrations big and small. As the home of the brave braves the heat to celebrate America's 250.
This is a special edition of Top Story on the eve of America's 250. Reporting tonight from the birthplace of America, Philadelphia, here is Tom Llamas.
And good evening. We are live tonight from Philadelphia on the eve of America's 250th birthday. And right behind me, Independence Hall, you see it right there, where our founding fathers adopted the Declaration of Independence back in 1776. But July 4th celebrations of this incredible milestone upended by this record-breaking heat, including right here in Philly, where triple-digit temps forced officials to close off and call off the country's largest parade. You can see the parade floats that took months of preparation being wheeled off the route. Other events from Virginia to D.C. also canceled due to this dangerous heat. On the National Mall, the Great American State Fair, one of President Trump's signature events, temporarily shut down during those peak heat hours to keep people safe. While out west, wildfires in Colorado still raging out of control, leading several cities to cancel their fireworks displays. Across the country, some celebrations still kicking off without a hitch. And in New York, the show must go on. Millions expected to gather for that historic fleet of tall ships, the biggest maritime gathering in U.S. history, and NBC News will have exclusive access to all of it. Right now, more than 150 million are under heat alerts. In a moment, we'll time out your fireworks forecast. But we want to begin tonight right here in Philadelphia, the birthplace of our nation, sweltering under this heat emergency. Tonight, celebrating America's 250th birthday under scorching heat. You can see floats here lined up for what would have been the biggest parade for July 4th in Philadelphia, canceled by triple-digit temperatures.
I had no idea it was going to, be this bad.
But across America, the celebrations go on, including in Folsom, California, the site of this mishap as a skydiver comes in for a landing. Luckily, no one was injured. All as 151 million people are sweltering under heat alerts today, with dangerous record-breaking temps across the central and eastern U.S. In some cases, 20 degrees above average. In Washington, D.C., officials announcing the Great American State Fair would be postponed for several hours because of the heat, right in the middle of a jet flyover.
Attention, fairgoers. The event has been postponed.
Emergency personnel seen treating several in the crowd for heat. but the excitement still high.
Once in a lifetime opportunity, and I cannot believe that I live here to be able to enjoy this with my children.
Nationwide, the CDC reporting a dramatic increase in emergency room visits for heat-related illnesses, including heat stroke, throughout the Midwest and East Coast. With the heat dome across the U.S. dangerous for workers outside, like these roofers.
Sweltering. It's like working in an oven.
New York City now under triple-digit temperatures for the first time in a decade. Still, it's not dampening celebrations in Times Square, where they're doing a ball drop for every U.S. time zone as we head towards America's 250th birthday, including this morning for Guam. And take a look at this breathtaking sight in New York City's harbor, a fleet honoring America, channeling generations of history. Tall ships from around the world, primed for a parade, with few parallels. Towering vessels from the Americas to Europe, making their way up the East Coast for Sail Forth 250. The historic flotilla, navigated by thousands of sailors, will parade up New York's Hudson River as the biggest maritime gathering in U.S. history. NBC's Sam Brock getting a preview with the Class B ships.
The Class B parade has drawn thousands of people here to South Street Seaport, and this is the prelude to tomorrow's main event.
Captain Gerben Knob will be sailing a restored Dutch ship.
It's a big honor to lead the parade, and we're really looking forward to it.
Tonight, President Trump will travel for a 4th of July event at Mount Rushmore, and then return to Washington, where they're planning a historic celebration tomorrow.
Today we have the largest economy on earth. We have the strongest military on earth. As we stand on the edge of our 250th year of independence, I am thrilled to declare that America is back.
NBC's Ryan Nobles is in Washington tonight.
When the sun goes down over the nation's capital, organizers are preparing a record-breaking fireworks display with plans to shoot off more than 800,000 lights.
With President Trump then set to speak at a rally capping off the celebrations.
It's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
And in France, they're turning the Eiffel Tower red, white, and blue in honor of America's big birthday. Plus, a special message from Rome today from the American Pope.
I join you in asking God's blessings upon America's future.
And back here in Philadelphia, we spoke to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro in the city where it all began, where the Declaration of Independence was signed 250 years ago tomorrow. What does Philly mean to this country?
I mean, Tom, that's where it all happened. When Ben Franklin emerged from the convention and a woman walked over to him and said, Dr. Franklin, what do we have here? A monarchy or a republic? Franklin looked her in the eye and said, a republic if you can keep it. That's been our American calling card, a responsibility of each successive generation to do our part to defend our democracy.
So much history in this great city, but the heat is brutal tonight, and it's showing no signs of cooling down. Joining me now to track it all out is NBC Philadelphia meteorologist Brittany Shipp. Brittany, so great to see you. It's hot out there. It is dangerous. Walk our viewers what they can expect this weekend.
Unfortunately, this heat dome won't break until after all the festivities, so you have to be taking care of yourself. And it's not just us here in Philadelphia. In fact, 154 million people are at risk with this prolonged life-threatening heat wave that we are dealing with, and that is going to continue into the rest of the weekend. We won't see any relief until Monday, but here's a closer look at the potential records that we could break as well. So the further south you go, you have a better chance to continue to see these record-breaking temperatures. As we look ahead to the dangerous heat that we can expect for tomorrow on the actual 4th of July, take a look at some of these temperatures. They are impressive. 97 degrees will be the actual temperature in New York, but the feels-like temperature will get up to 102 degrees. If you're closer to Knoxville, 95, but feels-like temperature at 104 degrees. And then as we look ahead to early next week, you'll notice that temperatures will finally start to come down. Areas like Boston, 72 degrees by Monday. But if you're closer to Philadelphia, we're going to still see those temperatures in the 90s and 80s. Our 4th of July fireworks forecast, the all-important forecast. And take a look. If you're on the West Coast, 50s and 60s. But if you're closer to the Northeast, these are warm and humid conditions. Temperatures, even when the fireworks are going off, for areas like Washington, D.C. and New York in their upper 80s. And then storms are likely for Minneapolis, Cincinnati, down towards Dallas, and even parts of D.C., New York, and Philadelphia could see some strong storms moving through that would delay fireworks, but we don't think it would cancel them.
A week of extreme weather. Okay, we thank you so much, Brittany. Great to have you here on the show as well. We're also following some breaking news tonight out of Michigan, a chaotic scene after shots rang out at a suburban Detroit mall as shoppers were getting ready for the 4th. An investigation is now underway. Police say 2 shooters opened fire there inside of the mall, with videos showing customers sprinting to safety. Here's Maggie Vespa.
Terror and gunshots.
Oh my God.
After police say 2 gunmen opened fire in a Michigan mall, leaving 3 people shot, 2 killed. This chilling video may have captured one of the shooters. Here you see a man in a red shirt holding a gun, multiple people around him. Here it is again. NBC News has verified this was filmed inside Dearborn's Fairlane Town Center Mall near Detroit, where the shooting took place. Authorities surrounded the building.
We have multiple officers coming in.
Police haven't yet ID'd the shooters, the victims all in their teens and early 20s.
1 gunshot wound to the leg, 1 gunshot wound to the head, 1 gunshot wound to the stomach.
They say a 4th person was hit by a car as they ran.
All I hear is gunshots, ringing.
Witnesses describing the chaos to NBC affiliate WDIV.
What was racing through my head, so I got to get home to my daughter.
Authorities believe the shooters knew each other, stressing at the start of a busy holiday weekend, this was not a random act of violence.
These kinds of acts of violence are completely unacceptable.
Maggie Vespa joins us now live. And Maggie, I know you have some new reporting that police are making progress in their investigation. What do we know about the suspects?
Well, Tom, we know that the suspects, the shooters, were in a fight, police say, before those shots rang out, which is quite possibly why all those cell phone cameras were rolling. So obviously that video incredibly valuable to investigators. Authorities also say they're questioning multiple people at the station who they say were, quote, involved in the shooting, but they're stopping short of calling any of those people suspects. They're also, by the way, not ruling it out at this time. The police chief in that press conference that you just saw at the end of our piece vowing the shooters in this case will be held accountable. Tom.
Okay, Maggie Vespa. Maggie, we thank you. We want to head to New York now because a suspected shark attack has happened at one of the most popular beaches just outside of the city. And this comes just a day after multiple sightings closed beaches in that area. NBC New York's Paisley Chang is there with more.
Tonight, a suspected shark attack at the start of a busy holiday weekend, closing a crowded New York beach.
It's pretty crazy.
Park officials investigating the incident at Jones Beach after a swimmer sustained lacerations to his foot, struggling to get out of the water.
It looked like it was a bite mark with a tooth or teeth.
Medics rushing to the scene to rescue the man, taking him to a hospital.
He was crawling out of the water, and probably halfway up he fell, and then he was screaming, "I got bit." Once people thought that it was like serious, they all kept rushing, dragged him out of the water, and then they just wrapped bandages and got him out of here as quickly as they can.
The man's expected to be okay. No sharks were found, and people were eventually allowed back in the water, only up to their waists. This incident coming a day after multiple shark sightings in the New York City area. A 9-foot shark spotted at a nearby beach yesterday. Red flags warning of hazardous conditions.
Everybody knows it's a risk every time you come to the ocean.
An estimated 100,000 people were at Jones Beach today. This apparent shark attack is still under investigation. Tom?
All right, Paisley Chang for us. Paisley, thank you. We want to turn now to Kerrville, Texas, and the somber memorial 1 year after deadly floods ripped through the tight-knit community, devastating flash floods killing more than 130 people, including campers and counselors at Camp Mystic. And today those victims are being honored. Ryan Chandler joins us now from Kerrville. And Ryan, you've been out there all day speaking to people about this painful time. I can't imagine what that's been like. And this is obviously coinciding with the holiday weekend. What are you hearing from the families and the friends of these victims?
Well, Tom, it's a difficult mood for everybody here to be in today, to hold both that commemoration with the celebration. They want to do both at once and not let the grief that they still have take away from the patriotism and the desire to celebrate America 250 with the rest of the nation. One sign of hope, Tom, you saw the devastation firsthand here last year, and in many ways, it looks the same. This riverbank is still devastated. The trees will forever be bent in the direction of the water. But just down the riverbank here, we're hearing the sound check, the country music coming from that stage that they're going to use for America 250 in the same park that was devastated and underwater this time last year. We also saw the new memorial engraved with the names of the 119 people who were killed in Kerr County, unveiled today under that massive cross on the hill overlooking the river in the hill country. Here's what one woman told us about what the 4th of July means for her this year.
There's so much love here. There's so much. It's so different just to be here where the flood happened. You know, I can't say it's a happy 4th of July. I mean, I want to turn that way because it's a great day, Independence Day tomorrow. But, man, we just feel each other's pain and sorrow and love and compassion.
And we also know, Tom, so many kids have returned to the hill country, back to summer camp. We know Camp Mystic, of course, where 27 girls lost their lives, has closed. But the camps that are opening under strict new regulations from the state to make sure the kids who have returned can be at camp safely. Tom.
All right, Ryan Chandler for us tonight there. Ryan, we thank you for being there for us tonight here on Top Story. We want to head now overseas to Iran tonight. Officials there say millions are expected to turn out for the former Supreme Leader's funeral. Our Richard Engel is in Tehran with rare access inside the country.
The Ayatollah who ruled Iran for over 3.5 decades is now lying in state 4 months after he was killed by the United States and Israel. Today, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was honored by foreign dignitaries and senior Iranian political and military leaders. Khamenei's casket sitting just above those of his relatives, including, Iran says, his 14-month-old granddaughter, killed in the same strike. Across Iran tonight, preparations are underway for a massive week of mourning.
Khamenei's body will remain lying in state over the weekend until it is carried through the streets of Tehran on Monday. Organizers expect 15 to 20 million people will attend. The mayor says it could be the largest public gathering in Tehran's modern history.
For supporters of the Islamic Republic, this is both a show of grief and of national resolve, proof that Iran's revolutionary theocracy still stands, despite President Trump's early promises to overthrow it. Richard Engel, NBC News, Tehran.
Back here at home, this is new tonight. President Trump just posting this photo of his signature on a $100 bill. You can see it there on the bottom left corner of your screen there. The Treasury Department announced the move back in March, saying it's meant to honor America's 250th anniversary. No word on when it's going to be rolled out to the public. This would be the first time in U.S. history a sitting president's signature will appear on paper currency. We're going to turn back now to that massive fleet of tall ships sailing into New York City's harbor. Dozens of them from all over the world coming together for a historic display to honor America's 250th independence. I want to bring in NBC Washington's Tommy McFly, who is on one of those ships right now. And Tommy, these ships are coming in from a bunch of different countries. Talk to us about the one that you're on right now and why this parade is so significant.
Hey, Tom, this ship is so special. Yeah, you mentioned a bunch of countries around the world, and they are coming in. But this is the Alyssa from Galveston, Texas. And this ship is one of the oldest ships of its kind that is still operational, and it has such an incredible story. And it also has absolutely incredible people. Say hi, everyone. We're talking about a very volunteer crew who makes their way, who has trained and learned and brought this ship all the way from Galveston, Texas, the first time in these waters in over 40 years. The last time that this ship was here was to go visit Lady Liberty for the 1st birthday of the Statue of Liberty. You gotta give Captain Andy a high five. He's training this whole crew, and he is getting everyone ready to be part of the incredible. Is going to be of the American ships after all the foreign ships go through tomorrow as you're watching the sail. It's going to be fantastic, Tom.
Tommy, any chance to let you command that ship? Will you get a chance to hold that yoke and maybe steer the ship a little bit?
You don't have a mic, Captain, but can I steer the ship for a little bit?
Well, we're about to do a maneuver, so yeah, you get there.
Oh, okay.
When
Well,
I tell you, you're going to put it hard to port.
hard to port. All right, let's go. Hands to stations. Ship from 1877. Hard to port. Here we go. Hard to port. How? 2.5, 3. Ah. Oh, there we go. Watching this and the sails down in the East River, and this is part of the celebrations you're going to see tomorrow when the route goes all the way from the Verrazano Bridge up to the George Washington Bridge. Tom?
Captain Tommy McFly, we salute you and great steering that ship there. Hopefully it'll make it into port. We will have exclusive access to the tall ships. Our full coverage begins tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern on NBC and streaming on NBC News Now. We thank Tommy McFly for all of that. When we come back tonight, the heart-pounding discovery, a toddler found alive after being declared dead. Will anyone be held accountable? Plus, the close call caught on camera. A state trooper almost hit by an out-of-control truck, how he dodged that driver. And the wedding everybody is talking about, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce finally tying the knot. What we're learning about the star-studded event and who might be showing up. Stay with us. We're back, and it's finally here. The wedding of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift underway right now. More than 1,000 guests reportedly attending the celebration of the couple's union at the most famous arena in the world, now turning into their chapel. Our Emily Aketa is there. Emily, I thought you got the email invite. I know you're still clicking on your inbox to see if it pops up. Give us a sense of what's going on before that happens.
Listen, Tom, this event is anticipated to go until 4 a.m., so I'm still waiting. I'm still checking that email invite. You can see behind me that part of 7th Avenue has been reopened. That is because the event is underway. Also, take a look. You can see a glimpse of this is just a portion of the security presence surrounding Madison Square Garden. This is the closest thing America has, really, to a royal wedding, and thus the media lined up covering every development along the way in this celebration that I mentioned is anticipated to go until 4 a.m., according to an event permit.
The most anticipated wedding festivities of the year tonight getting underway for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce in the heart of New York City. A stream of celebrities, including Hugh Grant, Ethan Hawke, and Jason Sudeikis, seen dressed to the nines, along with a line of SUVs with tinted windows, ushered in through white tents and black screens. The massive footprint and rows of barricades clogging traffic and driving some frustration this busy holiday weekend.
I'm upset. I'm frustrated.
With signs of the transformation inside Madison Square Garden, decadent florals and white structures peeking through in the cruel summer heat. Around 1,000 people, according to an internal police memo, will attend tonight's hours-long rager, likely including country star Brad Paisley.
I'll say it's very likely that I'm going.
But the star-studded festivities, drawing Swifties hopeful for intel.
Literally, this is our royal wedding of the century.
Playing out behind a veil of secrecy. Signs at check-in points reading, have identification out, have devices ready. Guests signed NDAs included on electronic invitations that merely told them to be in New York from Thursday to Saturday, according to a source invited. But even the heavy security presence surrounding the American royal nuptials leaning in to the fun.
I knew you were trouble. I knew it.
Emily joins us now again live once again outside of Madison Square Garden. You know, Emily, in your piece, you mentioned a little bit about this sort of star-studded guest list. Who else has been spotted there? And do we kind of know how they decided on this guest list? Because it seems to be such a mixed bag.
Well, when taking a look at some of the videos and pictures shot throughout the city, I think we are talking about dozens of A-list celebrities. You know, we talked about and we saw the long line of cars, those dark tinted SUVs with a really private entryway going through the white tent. But we also saw celebrities just walking up to Madison Square Garden. We talked about some of them, Ethan Hawke, Hugh Grant, but also around the city, so many people across so many industries dressed to the nines. I got to look down here because there's so many different names. Carly Kloss, a model, her close confidant, Tree Payne, Bradley Cooper, Camila Cabello, Abby Wambach. Now, the real question that I'm asking right now is how much are we going to learn overnight about what's happening on the inside of Madison Square Garden? Because as we've learned from a source invited to the wedding, Tom, there's a no phones policy. So we'll see what trickles out. I'm sure eventually we'll hear from Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce themselves, but it's a matter of when. I'm just looking around here because I'm seeing some sirens. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, my. Tom, I got to show you this, Tom. Look at that sign up there. See the sign above? Oh, the bus is blocking it. The purple sign, that lavender sign right now says just married. You tell me what you think that means. Do you think they literally just tied the knot or what? See it?
Emily, what an incredible moment. That's amazing. It must have just happened, right? That just popped up?
Right? I mean, that just came up, right? I'm asking our producer off camera. Literally just came up as we were chatting just now. Tom, I'm actually a little bit speechless right now. This is insane. Perfect. And it's a lavender haze, right?
7:25.
Tom.
Yeah, 7:25. I don't know if that means anything in Taylor Swift world, but that's kind of around what time that sign popped up there. Emily, you were there for it. You witnessed it, maybe not inside, but you were outside. I'm sure you were there in spirit. We thank you for that report and keep us updated if anything happens. All right. Thanks so much, Emily. Coming up here on Top Story, much more on this special edition of the broadcast live from Philadelphia as America celebrates 250 years. We speak with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro about the state of the nation and what's to come. Plus, a rare copy of the Declaration of Independence finally found after being lost for centuries. We'll tell you where it's been hiding next. We are back now with a disturbing story out of Arizona getting a lot of attention. A toddler discovered alive after being declared dead just hours earlier. New body cam video gives us insight into what happened as questions swirl over a possible negligence. Our Dana Griffin has those heart-pounding moments.
Body cam video showing officers outside Phoenix sprinting toward a terrified family holding their 18-month-old boy. The video blurred by police.
Oh my God.
The toddler was found during a Super Bowl watch party unresponsive in the family's pool. The toddler is then taken by ambulance to Arizona's Mercy Gilbert Medical Center, where, according to the police report, resuscitation efforts are taken for several minutes. According to an officer at the hospital, he says the doctor left the room to possibly make a death notification to the parents. While this is happening, the officer hears a nurse say, "I have a pulse," and they continue to try and revive the child. The officer goes to update the doctor, who on body camera is heard saying this. The doctor returns to the room, tells the staff to stop treatment, and declares the child dead at 6:20 p.m.
No objections. I'd like to call time of death.
Several minutes after that call is made, the officer says he and the boy's family expressed concerns that the boy still might be breathing. But 5 hours later, when the medical examiner came to collect the boy's body, he was found breathing. The child ultimately survived and was released from the hospital. In a statement, the hospital saying, "We immediately conducted a thorough review. Out of respect for the patient's privacy, we cannot discuss details." Now, Tom, according to police, the parents could face child abuse charges since they both admitted to smoking marijuana. They left the garage door unlocked and open, and there was no designated supervision during the party. Now, the case is still under review by the Maricopa County DA's office. Tom?
Okay, we thank you for that. We want to turn on a Top Stories news feed, a check of what else is happening around the country. We start with the Trump administration planning to officially roll out its Trump accounts, which adults can open for their children. Children born between 2025 and 2028 are set to automatically receive $1,000 from the federal government. Money in those accounts will be invested in the stock market and can be accessed once those kids turn 18. It's intended to be used for specific things like paying for school or buying a home. And a close call for a New York State trooper. Take a look at this. The trooper leaping over the concrete barrier to avoid getting hit by that out-of-control truck, towing a trailer. As you saw there, it slammed into a cruiser parked in the road. Police say the driver was arrested for DWI. And overseas, a rare copy of the Declaration of Independence has been discovered in London. It's been lost for the past 250 years. The document was printed in New Hampshire and intended to spread news of American independence throughout the colonies. It was then tucked away in Britain's National Archives until a volunteer came across it this year among a collection of papers seized by the Royal Navy in 1776. Only 11 copies of the printing are known to survive. And a Nebraska soybean farmer is celebrating America's 250th in a very big way. Check it out. You can see the view from above the farm showing an American flag with an eagle's head etched into the field. The farmer says it's created using planting software and that it doesn't impact the actual harvest. The big challenge, of course, will be topping that design next year. Okay, now to more of our America 250 coverage live from Philadelphia, the birthplace of America. As you heard at the top of the show, I spoke with Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro earlier today about this incredible milestone. Today, politics and the future of this great nation. Here's more of our conversation.
Governor, first off, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Good to be with you.
It's so upsetting, I know, but the heat was just too dangerous today.
Little dangerous today. We want everybody to be safe, but it's not dampened the spirits. People have taken their celebration indoors. It's an incredible moment to be here in the birthplace of democracy, the city of Philadelphia.
When you look back just here, we have so many historical sites here. What does Philly mean to this country?
I mean, Tom, that's where it all happened. That's where we declared our independence from a king, came back a decade later and drafted the Constitution. That was really the scaffolding for the laws. A whole lot of words on those papers, but I think the most important thing that happened were on those cobblestone streets outside of Independence Hall when Ben Franklin emerged from the convention and a woman walked over to him and said, "Dr. Franklin, what do we have here? A monarchy or a republic?" Franklin looked her in the eye and said, "A republic if you can keep it." Those words, "if you can keep it," that's been our American calling card, a responsibility of each successive generation to do our part to defend our democracy.
This was going to be such a big day for Philadelphia. It was big yesterday. It was going to be big all weekend. Was it hard to sort of pull back and say we have to cancel, or the weather was that dangerous?
Well, look, the mayor made that call. I respect that decision. And I will just tell you, as the governor, we've deployed PEMA, our emergency response folks, all across this Commonwealth, particularly here to Philadelphia. We've sent assets out to ensure people are safe. We want everybody to have a safe time. We also want them to have an enjoyable time. And there's still tons of activities going on.
You're one of the most important people in the Democratic Party in this country. I want to ask you about some political questions. A lot of people thought the midterms was going to be a referendum on President Trump, specifically gas prices. Gas prices are coming down. Is it going to be tougher to face Republicans come November?
Everything costs more because of Donald Trump, whether it's the price at the pump, the goods you buy at the grocery, the food you buy at the grocery store, the goods you buy online. Everything costs more because of Trump's tariffs, Trump's war of choice, and Trump's economic policies. And you're here in Pennsylvania, where 500,000 Pennsylvanians either have or are about to lose their health insurance. 140,000 of our neighbors are losing food assistance, all because Donald Trump thought it would be a good idea to give a tax break to the people at the very top and pay for it on the backs of the middle class and people who are struggling to get by. That's wrong. People know that the reason their costs have gone up is because of Donald Trump.
As we celebrate America 250, NBC News recently did a poll, right? And it found that 90% of Republicans are proud to be Americans, but only 29% of Democrats. Why do you think that is?
Well, look, I don't know. I haven't seen the poll, but I can tell you I'm a proud, patriotic American. I feel blessed that I get to raise our 4 children here in the greatest country on the face of the earth, the greatest experiment in self-governance in the history of civilization. We have a lot of work to do. We can feel blessed to live in this country and feel purpose in the work we have to do ahead. And I think what you're seeing in those numbers is a desire for real change, a desire to see people have a better shot at the American dream. That's what I work on every day as governor of Pennsylvania.
On that point, a lot of headlines have been written about these Democratic socialists that have been winning primaries in your party. Are you worried that's going to turn away swing voters across so many states come November?
Well, look, I speak as the governor of the top swing state in the entire country. What I'm seeing across this country is real passion. People are passionate to show up and vote. And part of their passion is that they're feeling real pain as a result of the Trump administration, as a result of the president's policies that make things cost more.
But is that where the Democratic Party is going?
What I am seeing, though, is real passion and real serious pain as a result of Trump's policy. What I think is incumbent upon every nominated candidate and every elected official is to deliver real results to the people who put you in those offices. My motto as governor here of Pennsylvania is GSD, get stuff done. Improving schools, public safety, growing the economy, bringing down costs. It's incumbent upon every single elected official to deliver real results to people.
The president is calling it communism. He's saying the Democratic Party is turning into a party of communists. Does that worry you as you head into November?
The president says a lot of things. The vast majority are absolute nonsense. I know here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I'm proud of the fact that we not only have the support of Democrats, but a whole bunch of Republicans and independents as well. My focus is on doing what the framers did 250 years ago, on every debate, in every instance, finding ways to bring people together. Sadly, we have a president that tries to constantly divide us and rip us apart. My focus is on bringing people together.
You were the victim of political violence. Part of that was because of anti-Semitism. Where is anti-Semitism right now in America? How would you gauge it? How bad is it? Is it getting worse?
It is getting worse, and it is bad. And empirically, it is rising. And we are seeing that, whether it's the attack on me and my family while we slept, whether it's the attack on State Senator Weiner just a few days ago in San Francisco, and in countless stories in between. But I will tell you that notwithstanding the data that shows that anti-Semitism is rising and is a real problem in our country, by the way, in the Democratic and in the Republican parties, this is an American problem. This is a problem our civilization has to confront. What I see, though, are people, everyday Pennsylvanians, who do not behave that way, who love thy neighbor, who find ways to reach out to people of other faiths and bring people in, solve problems together, make their community stronger. I see a whole lot of light coming from our communities each and every day.
You mentioned the Democratic Party has a problem with anti-Semitism.
Tom,
yeah,
I said both parties.
Both parties, but you acknowledge your party has as well.
I acknowledge that both parties do. I think this is an American problem.
I hear you. Do you think somebody who's Jewish can be the Democratic nominee for president?
I think what the American people want is someone who's going to go fight for them every single day, no matter their faith, their gender, their sexual orientation. I think people are so frustrated about are elected officials who don't deliver for them. I'm here in Pennsylvania, the ultimate swing state. I'm very open about who I am and my faith. And the reason why people of both parties, independents as well, have come together to support me is because they know I go to work every single day to fight for them and to deliver real results. I believe in the goodness of the American people, and I don't think the American people discount or disqualify anyone based on their personal characteristic. I think they want to hire someone who knows how to fight for them and get stuff done for them.
You ran uncontested for your primary. You are the governor here of Pennsylvania, as you said, the most important swing state. Some of your supporters would love to see you run for president. Will they see that day?
The only thing I'm focused on is running for governor and, more broadly, making sure we have a national referendum in these midterms on Donald Trump's chaos, cruelty, and corruption. I think you're going to see people show up in record numbers and say that is not who we are. That's not in keeping with what the founders started. We are better than this as Americans, even if our president doesn't show that example through his behavior every day. I'm only focused on these midterms.
Do you have a deadline when you will tell your supporters whether you will or will not run for president?
The only thing I'm focused on are these midterms, running for re-election, continuing to be an effective governor for the people of Pennsylvania.
Governor, what could someone like maybe a Governor Shapiro or another Democrat offer the American people that someone like J.D. Vance cannot?
I think what J.D. Vance is more continuation of division, taking away people's rights and freedoms. Look, as proud Democratic governor of Pennsylvania, I'm for giving every child of God a great shot at opportunity by having a wonderful public school. I'm for giving everybody safe streets. By the way, violent crime is down 15% on my watch here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm for making sure everybody's got a job in the community they love, whether in rural, urban, or suburban America. And I am for doing the work our founders started for expanding our freedoms. Donald Trump and his sidekick, J.D. Vance, have made our economy worse, have limited the amount of opportunity people have taken funding away from our public schools, away from our cops who keep us safe and who have limited our freedom. That's a clear contrast.
Final question. You mentioned the Founding Fathers earlier. What do you think about today, this point in American history, would surprise them the most and maybe make them the most proud?
Madison spent a lot of time in those halls worried that an executive would accumulate too much power. He wrote about this in the Federalist Papers. Given the Supreme Court decision, giving a president absolute and total immunity, given the way Donald Trump has engaged in corrupt practices and taken more power to himself than our constitutional founders had considered, I think Madison would be concerned about that. By the same token, I think Franklin and others understood that they could only start the job, that successive generations would have to carry it forward. Franklin, famously at the end of the Constitutional Convention, he had been fixated on the chair that George Washington sat in, the president's chair, because there was half of a sun on that chair, and he wondered whether the sun was setting on this new nation of America or rising for a new day. Franklin stood up and said at the end of the Constitutional Convention that he was proud to announce to the delegates that it was indeed a rising sun. I'm still filled with that sense of hope and optimism that our sun is still rising in America, even with the challenges that we face. This is a moment here at this 250th 4th of July of our nation's founding. This is a moment for us to stop and appreciate that even with all the work we have to do, the sun is still rising.
Governor, we'll leave it right there. We thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Still to come on this special edition of Top Story, one of America's most famous founding fathers joins us tonight. He's right over there. Take a look. Benjamin Franklin himself will chat about his impact on the country and how far we've come over the past 250 years, plus the technology he loves right now and what he's most proud of all these years later. That's next. We are back here in Philadelphia, the birthplace of America, and we are joined now by a very special guest, one of the founding fathers of this great nation, Benjamin Franklin. Ben, if I can call you Ben.
Please do, Tom.
Thank you for being here on Top Story. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for coming to Philadelphia, my hometown.
So what does this mean to you? 250 years of this great experiment called America. Can you believe it?
I find it hard to believe. I always thought that we were imperfect men, creating an imperfect country, but as perfect as we could be. And to see that you have made it last this long gives me great delight.
Well, it's because of so many of your great ideas. What do you remember about the signing of the Declaration of Independence of that time that made this country so special?
Well, we signed it on August 2nd, but on July 4th, having that final vote was a very special day. It was very hot, as it is today, but it had rained very hard the night before. Caesar Rodney had come all the way to Delaware to cast one of the deciding votes, and I remember thinking that we were truly doing something that would cause us all to be together. I said at the time, surely we must now all hang together, or we will hang apart.
Yeah, the Declaration, clearly the great legacy of the Founding Fathers.
Well, thank you.
What else do you think is so important on this day and age? If you look at 2026, right, and you think about the current era that we live in, what do you think from the Declaration of Independence up until now has withstood and made this country so perfect?
I think, without question, what we created, a republic, is about participation. That we have seen over the generations, over the centuries, more and more people participate in this country.
250 years. Do you use moisturizer? How do you stay looking so great?
I swim every day.
Okay.
I bathe frequently. I brush my teeth. I stay away from tobacco. I don't know why I've survived, and all of my fellow countrymen are long gone. But also they put me on money.
What is one of your sort of tech sort of cheats that you like? Is there any type of technology that you love now, Ben, that you're using a lot?
My mother, Abaya, always told me to be useful. And when I did my work with electricity, I was always imagining how it could be useful. And, of course, you know I'm a newspaperman, a journalist.
Yes.
And so seeing electricity being applied towards the sharing of news that's something I use. I really enjoy getting my news through electrical sources, like you.
So, speaking of news, you were a news mogul. You made so much money back in the day from the news business. this, and you're also sharing a lot of great ideas. What do you think of the current sort of era of news right now?
Well, we always had a problem with people spreading news. You know, in 1735, a very good friend of mine, John Peter Zanger, had a case in New York that was argued that he went to jail for a year for saying something unpleasant about a governor of New York. And in fact, he was found not guilty because it was determined that what he had said was true and not seditious. And so I think we've always had a danger of people using the news to spread personal opinions. But that is the nature of a republic.
Yeah. What can you share about some of our fellow founding fathers? Any sort of gossip, any sort of nuggets, anything you remember about your old friends?
Well, I will tell you, we do have nicknames that we call each other. James Madison, I don't want him to see this, but we do call him Little Jemmy behind his back because he's so precious.
Yeah.
Samuel Adams has often referred to as the angry boy.
Okay.
But would you like to know what they call me?
Yes, I would love that.
They call me Dr. Fatsides.
Dr. Fatsides? Why? You look svelte. You look like you're in shape.
Stop it. You're just being nice.
No? Did you like that nickname, or did it bother you?
I embraced it. It did not bother me. I actually would, on occasion, I have one sister, Jane Meekum, who I will sign letters. Your dear brother, Dr. Fatsides.
Yeah. Do you ever?
You have to allow people to make fun of you.
Are you ever asked to autograph
I am often.
Benjamin Franklin's?
I am
you are
often. Though we had actually discouraged people from putting anyone's face on currency. I designed a lot of early currency, and if you think about it for a second, the idea of putting someone's face on currency seems very aristocratic to me, and I understand you didn't start doing that until the 20th century.
Yeah, maybe it's an ego trip kind of thing. Who knows?
Oh no, I'm very humble.
Were you ever upset you didn't
famously humble?
You didn't go for the big one. You were never ever president.
No, I was far too old. I made it to the Constitution, but then I don't think I'll make it much longer than that. General Washington, I hosted the Constitutional Convention, but I stayed away the first day they elected the president of the Congress. I think General Washington was the perfect choice.
Do you ever get the bug? You ever thinking about a third-party run now, maybe 2028?
I don't think that. I don't think we want a president in his advanced years. You don't want a president in his 80s. I know.
Talk to me about the thing you're most proud of 250 years later.
Oh, that we have survived, that the Constitution continues to inform us, the notion of amendability, as I said, participation, seeing more and more people. I offered one of the very early bills to Congress attempting to end this barbaric practice of holding our brothers and sisters in bondage. Seeing the end of bondage is without question our greatest accomplishment.
Benjamin Franklin, it is an honor to have you here with us here on Top Story. You are by far our oldest guest, maybe our most wise.
320.
We thank you for being here, Ben, and I hope you have a great weekend and a great time celebrating 250
It's going to
years.
be delightful.
Thanks,
Thank you, Tom.
Benjamin Franklin, everyone.
Thank you.
When we come back here on Top Story, our series Great Americans, and tonight we hear from the woman who spent decades looking after one of the nation's most iconic symbols right here in Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell. Stay with us. And finally tonight, our series Great Americans. All week ahead of America 250, we've been highlighting those who have achieved so much here. And tonight here in Philadelphia, the woman working to protect and preserve one of the most iconic artifacts of U.S. history, the Liberty Bell. Tonight's Great American, Debbie Miller.
If a sound could capture the spirit of the American Revolution,
give me liberty,
it might have rung out something like this. A 1-ton bronze bell that first tolled in the mid-18th century marked major moments in early American history. The signing of the Constitution, the deaths of George Washington and Alexander Hamilton. It would become known as the Liberty Bell.
It really was a bell that was there to bring people together.
For nearly 2 decades, archaeologist and curator Debbie Miller has cared for the bell and more than 2 million artifacts at Independence National Historical Park in Philadelphia.
Artifacts are the real thing. They're the literal, tangible, physical link to the past.
Preserving history became her calling.
I think one of my proudest days of being an American was actually when I was given keys to Independence Hall. There's the moment of recognition that, oh my gosh, I care for these things. I'm part of the story of America. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof.
It would become a rallying cry for the anti-slavery movement in the 1830s, and again for suffragists in the early 20th century.
It will always carry new meaning, and I would argue that that's the power of it as well.
Long after the bell's final toll, it remained a universal symbol and a destination for everyday Americans to President Truman, Queen Elizabeth, and the Dalai Lama.
Ensuring that people continue to learn and to know and to grow in even their own identity as an American. That's really, really important.
Miller's mission is to help see that through.
The bell is now silent by the crack, but it's still ringing throughout the land.
We thank Debbie for everything she does for this great country, and we thank you for watching Top Story tonight. I'm Tom Llamas reporting from Philadelphia. Stay right there. More news on the way.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.